Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Martin O'Flaherty from Microsoft. I'm from the Core Services Engineering and Operations Division. And I'm here today to talk about how CSEO, as we call it, modernize our engineering practices and processes. First, I want to thank you all for your dedication. It's a Friday of Ignite, the day after the evening of roller coasters. So I was worried when I saw the scheduling that we'd have an empty room. So I'm happy to see I'm speaking to some people, and hope you enjoy what we're going to talk about today. So today I'm going to tell a story. I'm going to take you on a journey that we started back in 2017. We're not finished with this journey. It's ongoing. But it's talking about how core services engineering and operations are on a path to modernize our engineering processes. We want to be customer obsessed, and I'll talk more about what that means later. We want to be data driven, speed oriented, and quality focused. So that's our vision for the fundamentals team within core services engineering and operation. So throughout the story that I'm going to talk about today, we're going to cover a few things. First, I'm going to explain exactly what core services engineering and operations is, because it's the name of our division, and we have been around probably since the beginning of Microsoft, but we have evolved particularly in the last 3 years, and this organization, Core Services Engineering and Operations, was born back then. So I'm going to talk about who the organization is and why we evolved and why we're actually called this, because it's very important, the naming of our division even. Going to get into a little bit then about the journey that we took. First thing we did was moving to the cloud. That's moving our services all to the cloud. I'm going to talk about being metric driven and taking a live site first approach to all of our engineering. After that, I'm going to talk in quite a bit of detail about modernizing our pipeline. The engineering fundamentals team that I'm a part of, this is the main work that we do, is working on the engineering pipeline and the developer systems. So I'm going to talk about that in a bit of detail and give some examples of some of the things that we've done there over the last 18 months. And then I'm going to talk about what we learned. As I said, this journey is ongoing. It started a couple of years ago. We've got at least a couple of years to go. We've done a lot of good stuff. We've made a lot of mistakes along the way. We've learned from those. So I'm going to talk about some of the things that we learned and some of the things maybe that other people that are embarking on a similar journey to us will be able to maybe learn from as well. So first, core services engineering and operations. So we used to be called Microsoft IT, and we were rebranded from Microsoft IT about 2 to 3 years ago, when our new executive vice president, Kurt Delbene, took over the division. Won't exhaust the slide here, but Core Services Engineering, we're essentially the internal IT organization for Microsoft. So similar to a lot of other companies and things you'd be sort of familiar with, we have the normal IT vertical pillars, such as human resources, finance, legal, sales, marketing, retail, operations. These are our verticals. We have a number of horizontals then. The one in the middle, core platform engineering, you can see engineering fundamentals. That's the organization that I belong to, and we're the organization that has been helping drive the transformation in Microsoft within the engineering system. There's similar transformations happening right through core services, engineering, and operation. All of the other line of business teams are also on their own transformation, and we basically have all of that documented, and there's a very good link at the end of this deck that our EVP, Kurt Delbene, created this paper, and that talks on all of the different transformations that are happening within core services engineering. Today, I'm going to talk specifically about the core platform engineering and the engineering fundamentals team, what our journey looks like. So to give a little bit of scale to how big core services engineering and operation is, I've put some numbers across the bottom of the slide. I kind of like to start with the big numbers first and work towards the small numbers. So in terms of an organization, we have about 5,500 engineers and program managers, full-time engineers and program managers within our organization. There'd be a lot of vendor staff in addition to that as well. We keep our code in about 3,500 Git code repositories. We're running about 2,800 builds a day. The builds are small. They take about 16 minutes on average each to run a build, but there's a lot of them happening. There's about 66,000 commits that go into our repos every day that generate those builds. We're releasing constantly every day. There's about 650 or so releases every day. And we're all centralized on one single engineering system. We use Azure DevOps, and I'll talk a little bit about Azure DevOps later. We use Azure DevOps. We have a single account, single project, and we made that decision for very strategic reasons that I'll get into in a little bit later. But we're centralized on one Azure DevOps, which was a big move from where we would have been 3 years ago. So with that, I'm going to move on and talk a little bit about our journey. Okay, let me see, this slide hasn't been updated, but anyway. So our journey started as an engineering team about, as I said, about 3 years ago in 2017. So core services engineering was born. The engineering fundamentals team was happened around then as well. So back then, I mean, we weren't terrible, but we were siloed. So we didn't have a single vision across all of CSEO. Each of the organizations worked their own vertical business, the finance business, the HR business, and the IT teams that ran those businesses were sort of beholden to their business to develop features. We outsourced a lot. I think 3 years ago when core services engineering was born, I think about 60 to 70% of our engineers were actually outsourced. Which is huge, and 30% would have been actually Microsoft FTEs. One of the transformations we went under was to actually flip that and to basically have more full-time staff and less contingent staff, less vendor staff. We had a lot of independent tools. There was a lot of duplication. There wasn't clear communication between the different verticals. The finance team wouldn't necessarily have known what the sales team were doing, so they built very similar tools. There wasn't a culture of code sharing. We were split into hundreds of on-premise TFS instances, so it was really even difficult to, I guess, track and to report across the entire organization. So there wasn't that visibility, and then our design was completely, I guess, inconsistent. You would have looked at Microsoft tools at the time, and every UI would have looked different. It was very clear it was built by different engineering teams. So that was something that we wanted to address. So where have we come in the last couple of years? Where are we today? Well, the big difference is we are completely vision-led at the moment, and we have defined business priorities. We sat down about 2 years ago and wrote out this series of vision documents. One of them was modernizing engineering practices in core services engineering and operations. And as I mentioned, there was a lot of other documents written right then as well. We centralized our engineering system. We got rid of those 500 TFS and Azure DevOps, VSTS as it was called at the time, and we centralized into one. Centralizing into one gave us a lot of power to see the scale of our business and to understand and be able to report across all of the different verticals. We centralized incident management. We actually started thinking about incident management, I guess is more accurate. We started looking at what are our incidents, what's causing them, and we started actually registering those in a central place and being able to report on them and being able to learn from them. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in the next slide or two. We did a lot on our build and release pipelines, so we enhanced those, made those more streamlined. We got a centralized notification system for service health and for, I guess, engineering notifications. So if engineers had tasks to do, they would get notified into a centralized system, and that's a system that's used right across Microsoft. Telemetry and data and reporting and being metric driven, so that was really important, that we got a way to, I guess, consolidate all of our metrics and telemetry into one place. For core services engineering and operations, we have about 700 applications within our portfolio. A lot of those are third-party applications, Some of them are first party, some are things that we use from other parts of Microsoft, others are things that we built in-house ourselves. So for us, being able to track metrics is really important, that we can take all of those data sources and consolidate them into one place, process that data, and then report on it and build notifications and dashboards, all that kind of stuff. The final thing then is customer obsession. And that's really important to us, and it's not just a tagline that we're obsessed about customers. We truly are. And for us, our customers are the core services engineering engineers, the CSEO engineers. For the CSEO engineers, their customers are typically the Microsoft employee base of 140,000 employees. But for us, we are truly customer obsessed. So what we wanted to do, and I'll talk about this in more detail because I'm very interested in this particular section, is that we wanted to give people a vehicle to capture customer feedback and then listen to customer feedback. Take that feedback, integrate it into their planning, make business decisions, make engineering decisions based on what the customers are saying and what the telemetry is telling us. That's where we are today. We have a long way to go yet. We're certainly not there. You can see the little hiker guy, on top of the today box there. So, we're halfway through our journey. We have a lot of modernizing to do. We're doing like progressive rollouts, feature flagging. So when we have a new feature and roll it out, we don't roll it out to the entire world. We roll it out in phases, in rings. So that's something that we're encouraging, that practice. Auto-detection and self-healing of incidents. This is really important, and we're really passionate about, understanding what is breaking in our services, learning from that, and being able to detect it before the customer detects it. And that's a really important part. And eventually evolving to the place whereby we can not only detect it, but take measures to actually automatically heal the incident before the customers realize it. So we're doing a lot of work in that space at the moment. Always enhancing our build and release pipelines. And business process monitoring is a really big thing. So as I've talked about, we spend a lot of time capturing telemetry, and sometimes each service is green, perfect, 100%, 99%. But when you look at the business process, the actual experience for the customer who jumps from one of these services to the next, to the next, to the next, is not necessarily 100% or 99% or not even green. So we're investing a lot of time in that actually business process monitoring, so we can get a full sort of idea on how the customers are generally feeling as they go through a full experience using CSEO services. We're doing a lot then on developer tooling. We want to shift left, as we call it. We want to give the developers tools that they use at coding time. So they don't need to worry about breaking the build because of some compliance issue down the line that they didn't realize. We want to push all that upstream. We want the developers to be busy writing code and not busy making sure their code is compliant. We want to do that for them. So they can write their code and they can find the errors upstream, and we will give them the tooling to do that. And then finally, I guess, we are looking to migrate all of our code from Azure DevOps Git into GitHub, and we're doing a lot of work on our coherent design for our UIs. So, why did we go down this journey? When we sat down a few years ago, we looked at what are some of the key pain points that core services engineering has. There were lots, and we bucketed them into some groups. And then we figured, now we have I guess, an easy to manage list of pain points, and we came up with four buckets. What are some of the things we can do to address those? The top one was services are not constantly reliable, and incidents take long to resolve. The reason incidents were taking long to resolve is not that we were really slow to respond to them, but in many cases, we didn't even know the incident had happened, unless a customer came and explicitly told us. And sometimes the incidents didn't necessarily bring down the service. It might have slowed down the service, so we often just didn't know the incident happened. We didn't have the metrics. We didn't have the data. So that was one of the things we wanted to do. We wanted to establish this live side first culture where we look at incidents, When they happen, we embrace these incidents. I said embrace the red here. CSEO, we love dashboards. We have dashboards for everything, pie charts for everything. We got green and red. There was a time when people were sort of scared. You didn't want to be red. You didn't want to be called out. What we wanted to say was that it's okay to be red, because if you're red, something has gone wrong. Let's learn from that. Let's share those learnings. Let's post-mortem them. Let's create repair items and share that with the rest of the org, because if you're having that problem, or that problem has happened to your service, you can be sure someone else is going to face the same problem down the line. So we really wanted to embrace that red and build a muscle then around auto-detecting. We want to know what our problems are before our customers tell us what our problems are. Excuse me. The second pain point is services don't consistently comply with different policies, security policies, privacy, accessibility policies. A big reason for that is something we call technical debt, and we had lots of technical debt. So I'm going to talk about the technical debt a little bit later, but one of the things that we found had to happen was that, you know, engineers in our teams needed to invest time on working through that technical debt, burning down those issues. In fact, our engineers were, you know, at the beginning, were spending 20 to 40% of all of their time, sprint over sprint, just managing the technical debt. Until the technical debt was burnt down, we knew that we wouldn't really be able to modernize. So we needed to make that upfront investment and a continued investment as well. It wasn't a sort of a one-off. When you're looking at technical debt, there's a lot of things you can go after. So it's super important to be able to strategize, you know, which are the P0 metrics or the P1 metrics, which are the most serious problems, or which are the ones that are going to block us or slow us down from modernizing on something else. So it was really important that we were able to strategize on what those metrics were, and then build into the engineering pipeline, because as I mentioned, we don't want our developers to be getting blocked by these sorts of issues. So we want to build security and compliance checks directly into the pipeline, so, you know, the developers just get it for free, essentially. So that was another sort of thing we looked at. The third pain point is new business capabilities not being delivered on a continuous basis. And the reason for this really is that, and this came around, I guess, that we had all of these tools, there wasn't a standard across CSEO. So what we did is we looked at, okay, how can we leverage the best that's out there in Microsoft? So we reached out to the other divisions, to Office, to Cloud and Enterprise, to Windows, and we looked at what they had, and we decided to see if we could leverage their tooling, bring it into our pipeline, and use that, and not build from scratch, essentially. What we found when we started doing that was that, you know, we were able to provide sort of very valuable feedback to them on, you know, using their services at an enterprise scale. And we were able to feed back into that, in many cases extend those tools or those systems by building on top of them. And in some cases, then we would actually develop directly into the product team's code base. So that's something that we've got that we do far more frequently these days, that we actually, our engineers, instead of building something on top or building a separate tool, they will actually build directly into the product team's code base, and then it'll be available to everyone in the world, to all enterprises. So, you know, we're sort of a big customer of our own Microsoft tools. And then we have, and then we wanted to break down the silos between teams, enable teams to share code, continuously release, safely deploy, use experimentation and ring deployments, and then have feedback loops. And the final one then, which was a particular pain point for Microsoft employees, is the lack of a coherent design. The designs weren't, the UI is not consistent, and in some cases just not understandable for the users. So there was a team stood up basically to build common UI design libraries that out of the box are accessible, they're compliant, and these libraries and components then can be shared across all of the CSEO engineering teams just to use, and then we'll just get a standard look and feel for our applications. So that was important. Okay, so moving to the cloud. So this is something that, again, that we started a number of years ago, and this didn't happen overnight. When we moved to the cloud, we looked at our portfolio of services, of applications. So we have about 600 to 700 services that we needed to move from on-premise into the cloud. This was a multi-phased approach, I guess. We took the opportunity when we were doing this to actually, look at everything that was there and take the opportunity then to go ahead and streamline this catalog. So we looked at services and applications that really weren't used anymore, and we took the opportunity there to actually go ahead and retire just a number of services. About 30% of our services, in fact, got retired. The next then was to replace. And replace really is, we looked at services that we could just use SaaS offerings straight out of the box. About 15% of our services fell into this bucket. So we were able to move from Office servers to using Office 365, using SharePoint Online. This allowed us to actually, replace about 15% of our services. There's about 50% of our catalog of our applications that is actually customized, that we just couldn't use a SaaS offering out of the box. So our priority is to move everything to the public cloud. And from CSEO's point of view, we're pushing for people to use SaaS and PaaS as a priority. Number of our services had to be just moved to IaaS, and that was really just down to engineering constraints. That left that little 5% at the bottom remain on-premise. So due to regulatory compliance and this sort of stuff, we still have a section of our portfolio, about 5% of our services that remain on-premise. So that's that. So this slide will be shared out, and we can talk more offline. Okay, so I want to talk now about being metric-driven. And a couple of things we're going to look at here is, so the first thing was getting to a point where we could capture this metric and then at a CSEO level, report on these metrics, and take action on them. And then developing this live site culture where we're constantly looking at the metrics and figuring out, how we can do better from them. Establishing this live site culture or maintaining a production service was a culture change that a lot of the teams just needed to adopt. And this is really important because, a lot of what we talked about to date has been, taking our tools, modernizing them, doing better with our tools, taking our processes, modernizing our processes, and making those better. But true transformation, as we discovered, can only happen when there is transformation of tools, processes, but also people. And changing that culture in the team is often harder than actually changing the tools themselves or changing the processes. So establishing this live site culture was really important. And basically what that means is that all of our production services first get centrally cataloged and maintained in a single place. So we use a hierarchy to do this. We look at what are our key service offerings, finance, HR, what are the service lines underneath each of those? What are the individual services that deliver value to the customers? And then what are the engineering elements or the components that make up these services? So understanding that catalog then allows us to respond more accurately and more precisely when issues happen. Synthetic monitoring and notifications became a requirement. If you want to spin up a new service or you want your existing service to be compliant, you need to build synthetic monitoring into it. So it's checking to see, are there issues going to happen, and it's notifying the engineers in advance. So that goes back to that. We want to auto-detect our incidents, and we don't want customers to be coming and reporting these to us. Live site reviews. This is something that every team does. So every team on normally a weekly basis will get into a room, and they will review the health of their portion of the service catalog. So your team might own 20 services. You get in and you look at what's the health, what was the availability, what did the synthetic monitoring look like over the past week? Did anything go bad? Let's look at why it went bad. There's probably an incident that was created for that. There's probably a post-mortem, so the engineering team is present. They talk about what happened, but also what was the root cause of it. What did they do to repair it? What are the ongoing repair items that they're going to do to maybe ensure that this doesn't happen again? We share these learnings. It's a safe place where people can go and say, yeah, my service fell down, here's what happened, here's what we learned from it, and here's what we're going to do now to mitigate it. Our engineers needed to move to a DRI model, and that means designated responsible individual. So that's an on-call engineer 24/7 for every single service. So when your service does go down, if it's a serious incident and it happens in the middle of the night, one of your engineers will get woken up, and that engineer then owns managing that incident, communicating the incident, and driving it to a mitigation. And then when these incidents, then we go in and we actually go ahead and we post-mortem all of these incidents then, and we look, as I said, at the root cause, the repair items, and also the time metrics, the time, like how long did it take us to detect it, how long did it take us to engage with the customers that were affected, and then how long did it take us to mitigate and resolve the incident. So we keep strict SLAs on ours that we impose on ourselves to basically reduce the time for each of these and reduce the impact on our customers. Live site reviews then roll up to this bigger cross-CSEO thing called service reviews. What we figured was, we need executive sponsorship for this whole process to work. If we don't have right up to our executive vice president and all the VPs underneath him, unless we basically have their buy-off on this, nothing is going to work. So we set up these service review meetings where our senior leadership and the executives come to this meeting. It used to be once every 2 weeks. In the last couple of years, we've matured a little bit, so it's once a month now it happens. And in this meeting, we basically look at a sort of much higher level at the service portfolio. And we've got stakeholders from across CSEO that attend this meeting. We look at ways that we can improve efficiency and effectiveness, how we can build our engineering fundamentals, measure our velocity. So you'll see a flow across the bottom here where we sort of matured our service reviews. Essentially, it was kind of a two-step approach. Establish the baseline, look at our engineering fundamentals, burn down our technical debt, then look at live site. Get our services, properly monitored, properly managed by engineers. Once we have that, we can build on that momentum then to actually look at engineering velocity, build velocity, things like testing in production, having gated validations at check-in. So we move to that, and then finally into true service health. That's sort of where we're edging into right now at the moment, where we're looking at shifting from, to a more proactive incident management, self-healing, and more advanced analytics on what our problems are caused by. So then to go back to the first point here, that the engineering fundamentals, and that takes our story to this thing that we call technical debt. And this was huge when we came. I use this iceberg picture because when we started CSEO, we saw this tip of the iceberg, and this was our volume of technical debt that we needed to burn down. We didn't have good metrics at the time for technical, or for any of our services really, and it was only after we started actually digging in and figuring out what we didn't know that we realized that there was a whole lot of more technical debt under the water level that we didn't know about. And that's what I talked about earlier, that investing 20 to 40% of dev capacity per sprint for the first year or so was really required just to burn down that technical debt, get our services to a sort of a baseline where we could actually modernize them, where things like feedback-driven development and experimenting and ring rollout was possible. We started with the fundamentals, the basics, the taxonomy, how your work was tracked, what your repos looked like, and then we built up to the more sort of advanced stuff of reducing the technical debt. We bucketed these. That was really important. We have, as you see, we have people called cloud leads, which is a role within CSEO. It's an individual from each team that manages your services in the cloud. And that particular role is super important for helping prioritize the different metrics, because what we noticed was there was 50 buckets that we needed to go after. and it would just overwhelm the engineers. So what we did is we were very careful to prioritize these into what do we need to go after first, what are the fundamentals, and what are the security and compliance stuff. We can't push those out. Accessibility, live side, and then optimizing our services for the cloud. Once all that sort of technical debt was done, we were in a much better place then to continue with our modernizing story. So modernizing our pipeline. I'm going to skip forward on this a small bit. So our pipeline is built on Azure DevOps. This is sort of a marketing slide for Azure DevOps. I'm sure most people here are familiar with what Azure DevOps is, but it's a centralized suite of services developed by Microsoft for work, collaboration, coding, reporting, documentation management. So your key services, like Azure repos where you store your code, pipelines for managing your build and release, Azure boards where you track your work, and there's a whole lot of other smaller services in there. We use Azure DevOps for a reason, and it's not just because we're Microsoft and Microsoft using Microsoft, but also we're a massive enterprise. So us using Azure DevOps gives them a window that they just wouldn't have otherwise internally within Microsoft. So we use Azure DevOps, and in some cases we stretch Azure DevOps to its limits because we're such a large organization, because we've over 3,500 code repos in here, all in one project, with a complicated permission model and tented work and untented work and HBI and all this sort of stuff, that we stretch the product. So the feedback we can give them has been extremely valuable for them to actually build features into Azure DevOps to make it enterprise ready, enterprise standard. We also extend Azure DevOps. We build extensions on top of it. Stuff for the sort of, because our business is so complex, we need to extend the product in places. We work very closely with the team that build Azure DevOps and the IT org, the fundamentals team. We actually develop directly into the product as well. So we've built a number of features to actually make Azure DevOps better for the enterprise. So that's really what we're looking at here. So again, just to give a couple of examples there. So integrating policies was something that we spent a lot of time doing. We did this for a number of reasons. One of them is that over 60% of our engineers were non-Microsoft full-time employees. So having secure, compliant code obviously is really important for us. So building these I guess policies directly into the pipeline was something that is useful, of course, for ensuring that non-FTEs are doing the right thing, but also to make sure Microsoft full-time employees are just getting things for free. So a couple of examples here. I've put like branch management, which is an extension that we built on top of Azure DevOps, and this basically allows us to apply code review policies to all of our repos. So a minimum number of code reviewers maybe, or required code reviewers for specific repos. Also, it allowed us to roll out branching policies, so we have like master branch and user branch, to ensure that all of our production code is releasing from master. So we can just basically roll out this policy, and then all 3,500 repos get this policy that CSEO deems important. Another example then is compliance save. This is actually something that we built directly into the Azure DevOps product. This isn't an extension on top of it, so this will be available for everyone at some point. And this is basically moving quality checks upstream to design time. So when you're basically building out your build definition or your release definition, if there's any compliant issues that we deem, so if we have rules or compliance that we want within our build and release definitions, it actually won't allow you to save your build definition if you've made one of these issues. So it's pushing it upstream so we don't go ahead and produce a build and then hit these things downstream. So again, that's something that we built into the Azure DevOps product. So what I want to talk now next is a little bit about service catalog. As I mentioned before, we've got a large catalog of services. We have over 700 services right now, and those services are essentially like applications. So we've got 700 applications, all built into a hierarchy. Each of these applications has a whole load of components. I think there's over 2,400 components within the CSEO library or the umbrella or the family all up. So for us, building a very specific service catalog, and you can see it sort of sitting in the middle here, is important for a number of reasons. The key reason is we build out, and we spend a lot of effort making sure our catalog is correct, making sure our services are rolling up under the proper service lines and that the components are properly, or the service is properly decomposed into components. The reason is that service catalog becomes our single source of truth. And we've built connectors, and we use an internal Microsoft tool called Service Tree to basically manage our service catalog. But once you have your catalog and all the metadata, such as who is the service owner, who's the dev owner, who's the PM owner, does this service have a UI? We track all of that in this catalog, and that becomes our single source of truth. And then that feeds out to all of our other engineering systems. So you'll see Azure DevOps there, our accessibility inventory. If it has a UI, it needs to be accessible. The telemetry platform, our alerting platform, our incident management, which means if we create a new service, we create it once in Service Tree, you hit save, and then bang, it appears out in all of your other engineering systems. Hooks right up to Azure DevOps. So when you create a service in Service Tree, you go to Azure DevOps, it has already built out an area path for that service. It has already provisioned repos. It has already applied whatever policies we wanted to it. It has already set up the admins for it. So basically all of those engineering artifacts across all of the different systems get created for free because we maintain such a strict hierarchy in Service Tree. And that brings us to, I had a transition slide in here, it was much nicer. But anyway, brings us to something that I really wanted to talk about. So I mentioned at the beginning about being customer obsessed. And we don't use that as a tagline. We truly are customer obsessed, or we strive to be customer obsessed. So to do that, from an engineering fundamentals team, we wanted to provide all CSEO engineers with a vehicle to capture customer feedback. For a long time, we have all these services that Microsoft employees use, and they didn't have a very good way of providing feedback. So there was a lot of anecdotal feedback, and that's harder to actually go and action on. So we actually reached out to the Office team, and Office have this tool called Send a Smile, which you'll recognize from using Excel or Word or whatever, the little smiley up there. And what we did is we worked with the Office team to be able to make that usable internally as well. So we then push all of our CSEO engineering team partners to integrate Send a Smile into their applications. Reason for this is that it allows customers then to push feedback. All the feedback goes into a centralized place. The feedback, along with telemetry, gets us sort of insights on what the general sentiment of people are that are using that application. So again, to go back to a few things that I've said before, it's tools like this, processes like this really help. But again, true transformation for us, as we've learned, only happens when you can help transform the people to transform the PMs, transform the developers that own these services. It's very easy to stick a smiley face up there and lots of people leave feedback. But the only thing worse than not allowing someone or not giving someone the opportunity to give you feedback is to give them the opportunity and then ignore the feedback. So for us, there was a cultural change required to say, you know what, if you want to put that smiley up there, be prepared for people to give you feedback. You need to take that feedback, you need to look at that feedback, you need to analyze it, and then you need to build it back into your planning cycle, back into your pipeline. So that was something that, that was a cultural change that has been happening over time, whereby we now expect, if you capture user feedback, you need to, just like a DRI, if there's an incident, an on-call engineer, we have on-call people that every day live in the back end of Send a Smile. They look at what the feedback is that's coming in with their application. There's AI that basically buckets that into categories, helps you understand what the sentiment is, and then allows the PMs in that team to go ahead and actually make planning decisions. And one of the final things I want to talk about is how we bring it all back to metrics, bring it all back to data. Everything that we do and every way that we improve only really happens by having the right data and leveraging the right data. Our portfolio of services, as I mentioned, is quite complex. We have a lot of third-party applications that we use. We use a lot of applications that come from other parts of Microsoft. We have our own custom-built tools. So being able to take the telemetry from all of those different sources, ingest it into one place and process it, then sitting there, we're in a place then where we can actually report on it. We can monitor it. We can build alerts for people. We can look at the business process between those. Having that data allows us then to have valuable service reviews where we actually have all this data coming in from all of these different sources, where we can do good live site reviews because we have the data. We can take this data and we can cross-reference it with the customer feedback that we got from Send a Smile, and we can actually fully understand what the problems are with our services and how we can go about then improving them. So that has been our journey. As I mentioned, we started in 2017. We started with moving to the cloud, moving our services. We looked at ways of modernizing our pipeline. We have a shift left mentality where we want to push as much upstream as possible. Why break the build when you can tell a developer that the build is going to break? When there is a problem, and we're absolutely cool. We like when there are problems. In fact, when there are incidents, we learn from those. We have a process around that. We do post-mortems. We build repair items for everything. And we capture the customer feedback as we go. So some of the key things that we have learned. For us, our success really was back 2 years ago when we all sat down and we said, we need to be fully vision-led here. We need to look at what our key problems are, what we want to go after first, and then build out specific metrics prioritized to go and fix these problems. I've mentioned a number of times this one, but it's really important that transformation truly for us cuts across people, processes, and technology. Almost at that difficulty level, Technology, we have great developers who can build great services. We have PMs that can drive great process improvements. But until you spend the effort of actually transforming the people, making sure people get why you're doing something, why you're pushing something, they're truly not going to be, your transformation isn't going to be truly successful. Lesson number 3, it's really, really important, it was for us certainly, to invest the time up front on that mountain, that iceberg that I showed of technical debt. This was a culture change for the teams as well, because before CSEO, it was all about building features. The businesses pushed features and the teams were getting valued on the number of features they built. For us here, this was like saying, hang on, take a break from building brand new features, or at least slow down the number of features you're building and take the time to invest on fixing the legacy problems, fixing all the bugs, getting your services to a foundation level where you can modernize. So this was something that, we started, and over time we realized that, 20 to 40% is what it takes, essentially. It's certainly what it took us. It's a great opportunity when you're in this transformation journey to actually take a breather and look at your end-to-end sort of thinking and say, is there things that we can improve on? We're refactoring this code. While we're at it, is there something else we can do? So for us, it was a really good sort of like take a stop, look at everything and look for improvements. That's, I mentioned before that when we did when we were starting to move to the cloud, we took 30% of our services and we were able to just retire them, streamline our entire portfolio. So it's a good opportunity at that. And then I think final sort of lesson we have is it's important to be consistent and to prioritize. You know, when we started this, there was hundreds of things we needed to do, and there was always a temptation to just jump in and just start trying to fix everything. So taking that time to actually go and prioritize everything that needs to be done, going after the most important stuff first, and then moving on to everything else. We learned lots more than that, by the way. I just wanted to summarize it onto one slide of the top 5. So that's it. As I mentioned, these slides, our EVP, Kurt Del Bene, recently released a white paper that basically talks about CSEO's transformation across the board. What I talked mainly today was about the modern engineering transformation, which is one part, really. There was 10 more of these transformations that happened within CSEO. So I really encourage you to look at this link and look at CSEO's digital transformation right across the board. And thank you so much for your time.